Welcome to today's In the Kitchen. This is our Friday at noon Eastern, and today we are doing a comfort, creamy, cozy one pan dish. And I will tell you that this is very filling. And turmeric is giving it a beautiful yellow coloring to it. See if there's, I don't know if anybody has any questions. And Jennifer, I will give you the recipe in a minute. Really good, gluten-free, but not everybody. If you don't have a gluten sensitivity that you're aware of, you could use gluten pasta. So very filling, comfort meal. I hope you enjoy. I know I will. Welcome to today's In the Kitchen. This is our Friday at noon Eastern, and today we are doing a comfort, creamy, cozy one pan dish. And I will tell you that this is very filling. And I know people say to me all the time that they are always hungry on plant-based. And let me tell you, this is a very filling dish, especially if you pair it with something like a whole grain. So you can do all of that stuff. So let me get going. What we're going to do is we're going to start by cutting up an onion. And let me see, because I'm going to get my pan going. And literally I'm doing everything so you can see how quick and easy it is. No, I don't want to do that. Hang on. All right, so I'm going to move to my other video. So hopefully, let's see how this works to my camera. All right. And we're going to do this with, I'm using vegetable broth. So this is a organic vegetable broth from President's Choice. This is a Canadian thing. I'm just going to add some to the pan. Looks like I have something in there I got to get rid of. Okay, so something came into my thing. Let me start over. So I don't want little stuff in there. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little coating of vegetable broth on here. And so this is oil-free cooking. And I'm turning on my heat to around, I would say it's about half medium. The nice thing when you're doing this kind of cooking with oil-free is that as long as you keep minding to keep the pan, have some liquid in the pan, it's not going to burn. And you can caramelize things with that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring my cutting board over here so you can see me chopping up vegetables. So let's see if we can get this to work. You can see. Let me move this over.
The other way was better. The other view was better.
What's better?
Like when you had it on the other way.
Okay, so let me just go back to regular. And we'll get this figured out. All right. I'll put that over there. All right. So here I'm going to try to keep this on my desktop. So here, you can't see me, but I'm cutting an onion. And there's so many ways to cut onions and they can be very frustrating. So what I like to do is take off the end that has the hairs on it or the roots on it is what you can leave that. But what I do is I'm going to cut it in half, a little slippery thing. So I'm just going to cut it in half from right through the root. And then that way I can peel the skins off and have a nice onion here. There. And I'm going to do that for both sides because I'm going to use the whole onion. I like to use onion in my cooking, and it's very good for you to have onion. It's in the same family as the garlic, and it's one of those things that they recommend you have every day. So all I'm going to do is cut this into strips down there. And I'm not going to be too fussy about making it small. And then what I do is I cut it this way through the onion, and that's a quick way to chop an onion. And then what I'll do is put this into my pan and let it start to heat up. And I'm going to do the same with this other half of the onion. All right. Take the end and put it in the compost and then just cut it All right, and put it in the pan. Again. All right. And now I'm going to move back. We'll see if we can move back to the water. Here are the cooking part. So you can see me. It's heated up and it's actually bubbling away. So this will soften our onions. And as we're doing that, I'm going to cut up some more veggies. I'm starting with potatoes. So my potatoes are these are the little mini potatoes, and I'm using those because I have them at home. You can use any potatoes you want. And so for these ones, I'm going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. So I was watching something that Gordon Ramsay was doing yesterday, and the instructions were bite-sized pieces, and everybody said that might be different for everyone, but I've got, it's not that big. And then that way it cooks faster. So I'm just cutting these potatoes into bite-sized pieces and throwing them into the pan. I'm also going to put in some garlic as well. And as you start to see the liquid evaporate, you can add a little bit more so it doesn't burn. And then that way you're getting everything is heating up and cooking as you go. We'll get the potatoes in, and then I've got some mushrooms I'm going to add as well. Now, for me, I can be lazy when I go to the store. I like getting my mushrooms from Longo's. So if you're in Ontario, that will probably ring a bell for you, especially I'm in Oakville. There's lots of Longo's around us. You can go anywhere to get your mushrooms. And I like to be lazy and buy the ones that are already cut up for me. But you can cut them up yourself. So let me put that in. And as it's starting to, take that off. As it's starting to, the liquid is evaporated, I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now, if you just stir this, you'll get the caramelization and just watch it. Me, for what I'm doing now, I'm doing other things. I'm going to add some more liquid. But if you really want to do the really nice caramelization, then you could just stir that and watch it and have all your veggies cut up in advance and just babysit it. And you'll get a beautiful caramelization without needing oil. So this is the beautiful thing. And I'm going to throw that in. I got a few little potatoes here. Add them in. All right, almost done my potatoes. And let them cook. I'm going to add in my mushrooms. So I have some mushrooms I got at Longo's here. When my daughter is home, and she's away right now, but when she's home, we always cut them up fine because she's not a big mushroom fan. But she's learning to like them. And so what she does is if she cuts them up, she feels better about it. All right. As we do that, I'm going to add in some garlic. I've got some garlic cloves here and I have a garlic press. So here's my garlic press. Just going to add in a little bit of garlic here. And I'm going to use my little knife to scrape it in. Do a little bit more. And then usually I just let the garlic, as that goes, I just put this extra stuff in here. Now it's crushed up. You won't get a big chunk of garlic. You get little chunks of garlic. And our house is really big on garlic. So when I did my garlic, I cut it up and peeled it about 10 minutes ago so that it would have an opportunity to sit and let the enzymes that have all the medicinal properties, that's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, go to work. Because once you incorporate garlic into your other foods, you lose that opportunity. All right, so I think it's getting down where I'm going to add a little bit more liquid, and the mushrooms will give it some liquid too, a nice umami flavor. And we'll just let that cook. And so what we're doing is we're just adding as we go. So I'm going to move to my other camera here. We're just doing all this dancing around. All right, here I am again. So let's cut up some more veggies. So for today, I'm going to use a little bit of cauliflower here. So I'm going to just cut up, and literally you could play around with the cauliflower. You can even put this stem in. I'm going to give it to my dogs because they love that stuff. They're waiting. And honestly, I just cut up the cauliflower. I don't play around. You can if you want to make it into nice florets, but then you don't have to. So I've got my cauliflower ready to go. I'm going to give the potatoes and the mushrooms a little bit of time. So I've got my cauliflower, and then I'm going to do a red pepper. It's not in the ingredients, but it's a nice, I thought I'd add a little bit of color. And Helene, I know you like sweet potatoes, so you could put sweet potatoes in instead of white potatoes, and you could use whatever kind of potatoes you want for this. And so I'm just going to cut this into.
I like both.
You like both? I like both too.
I like both.
So if you want, you can do so I'm just cutting this into strips so I get a little color, red color into my creamy sauce. All right. And I'm going to now move back. We're doing this dance here today as we move back to our other camera.
You don't need to do that. We could see it the other way. We could still see it. I could still see it that way.
And you, oh, I'm having fun playing with it, but all right.
Okay, then have fun playing with it.
All right, so I'm going to add in the peppers, the cauliflower. I got to leave room for stuff. This is all going to fill up this pot, this pan. All right. And then the other thing that I do is you'll put in some broccoli. And if I don't have broccoli, I will use this broccoli florets that are frozen. I do not really care for frozen broccoli, like to cook it and all that. But I do find it works okay for this kind of stuff. If I don't like boil it in water, it works better. So I'm just going to add a couple of broccoli florets. And if you have no time and you're looking for ways to cut your time down on things, this is a great way to do it. All right. And so I'm going to add a little bit of water here, some vegetable broth to make sure it doesn't burn and it can all steam away. A little more. And I am going to put a lid on this and let it simmer now. So my temperature is about medium low on my stove. It might be different on yours. So I'm just gonna put a lid on that and let it simmer away while we make our sauce. Helene, I'll go back to our regular. All right. Oh, hang on. I forgot to put the spices in. Okay. So I'm going to put in some spices, but I forgot. Of course, I have some oregano. I've got oregano here, so I'm going to put some oregano in. I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric in. So what the turmeric will do is turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory spice, and it will give it some beautiful color as well. So I'm doing about a teaspoon. It'll give it beautiful color and make it nice. And when you work with turmeric, always advise to put some black pepper with it. The black pepper will give it a 200% absorption rate compared to not putting the pepper with it. And I'm not a big pepper fan, but for 1 teaspoon of turmeric, you should put 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So that's the ratio, 4:1. And for the turmeric to pepper. And I'm adding a little bit of, I'm at the bottom of my thing here, a little bit of onion powder. Let me stir that up, and then I'll put the lid back on. Ooh, my cauliflower is all beautifully yellow now. Yum. All right, I think I'm going to add a little, and you can just judge how much you need to add of the liquid. Put your lid on, and now let's move back and make our sauce. This is the creamy parts. We'll add in the sauce. Yum. Move all that stuff out of the way. Bring my blender in, so my trusty Vitamix into the picture. All right, so our first thing for creaminess is to add some cashews, make amazing creamy sauces, and we use them a lot. If you have allergies to, hang on, let me move this on. If you have allergies to cashews or nuts, you could use sunflower seeds, work well. And I've soaked them for the morning, about 4 hours of soaking time. This is a cup of cashews. And the soaking does two things. One, it softens up your cashews so that they are not grainy in your sauce. And then the other thing it does is it removes the enzyme inhibitors that are on the outside. Nuts and seeds have enzyme inhibitors on them to keep them from spoiling and all this stuff. And they are actually an anti-nutrient for us. So taking them off allows our bodies to absorb the nutrients from the nuts. And so I've got that. I'm going to add half a block of tofu. So I have regular, what I just am using the tofu I have in my house, which is extra firm. You can also use a silken tofu if you would like. And the silken tofu is not as firm. It's a little more creamy than the regular based on the way they make it. So you can do that. I've got some garlic to add in, some more garlic. I'm going to add a little bit of miso into it. So I've got about a tablespoon of miso. I'm using a white miso. You'll get at the store. So the miso is a probiotic. So it's fermented. So it makes a nice probiotic for us. So I'm just going to put a heaping tablespoon of that in there. Going to add in some lemon juice to give it a little bit of acid flavor, which I love. And I've got some nutritional yeast, which gives it a cheesy flavor. And I got to say, whenever I'm doing recipes, oh, it's stuck to the bottom. Whenever I'm doing recipes, I usually double how much they say to give of nutritional yeast, because I like it cheesy. And the darker the nutritional yeast, the more bolder flavor you're going to get. Because I've seen some pretty pale. This one is pretty dark, but you can get a really pale. You can get it really pale as well. And so it's a bolder flavor the darker it is. It's just their processing. And I'm going to add in a little bit of Dijon mustard. We bought the big Costco one this time because it's the same price as the small one in the store. And I was shocked at how fast my family went through this. It's crazy. All right. And then we're just going to add some liquid to it. Ooh, my veggies are doing well, simmering on the stove. Yum. Getting ready for lunch. So I'm going to add in some vegetable broth here. I'll get about a cup worth. I'm just shy of a cup, but if I need more, I'll add a little bit of water to this. Maybe I'll add just a touch of water. So it's about a cup worth of liquid. And you can add more. It depends on how thick you like your sauce as well, because this will be a fairly thick sauce for me. And now I'm just going to blend this all up. Lost my vortex. So let me see what I'm going to do here. Stir that up a little bit. Put the I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. Just a touch more. Great. Should be good. So that's my sauce. And I'm just watching to see the vortex that's there. Make sure it's still there. And like I said, you can put more liquid in if you want. Let me try it. This is good. It has a nice cheesy flavor for me. Mild cheesy flavor. All right. Now I do have some cantellini beans that I'm going to add. Let me go back. Maybe I'll go back to my other viewpoint, Helene, for you. I'll go, no, not for you, but just maybe for me. Go back to my other camera. All right. Bring this back. Okay, I've got this beautiful veggies that are done. I'm gonna add in some cantellini beans. I could have added them in earlier too, but I'll add them in now. So these are white beans. You could add in other beans if you want, like chickpeas you could add in. You could add in, I know I see a lot of things with butter beans, which is in, I think in North America is lima beans. So you could add that in if you'd like. Let me get a little bit more water or liquid for you. Just a little touch. And then what I'm going to do is add in my sauce. And then you can let that heat up. Like that. Add in my sauce. Oh, I got a full house here today. I think I usually use a bit of a bigger pan when I'm doing this, but this is good. And then you can just heat this up. And the turmeric is giving it a beautiful yellow coloring to it. We have foods in our reach to use for coloring instead of all that food coloring dye. So turmeric is a great one for yellow color. Something like beetroot powder is a great one for getting a red color, and green is like a spirulina or something like that. Give you a great one. Now I could cover that up and let it simmer a little bit. It's already getting hot. As you can see, it's simmering already. So what I'm going to do, in the essence of time for you guys, I'll turn it down a bit. And again, if it's too thick for you, you can always add a little bit of liquid. You can add a little bit of lemon juice if it needs more flavor. And I'm going to add, I've got chopped kale. It's in my freezer. I want to use it up. So I'm going to just add some chopped kale. You could use spinach. I've got frozen stuff here that was in my freezer, but if you have fresh, even better to use your fresh stuff. But it's frozen for some of these things. It's a great way to have them on hand when you're looking for something quick and easy. And there you go. There is a beautiful, creamy, comfort, and cozy food for dinner. And we just made it in what, 35 minutes, 30 minutes. And literally, I didn't really do any prep ahead other than pull the ingredients out. So let me do a little bit for myself. Not going to do too much. There you go. I love Fridays. I have this beautiful lunch all the time, ready to go. Put the lid on. Now, I did not prepare any rice, or you could do quinoa, or if you're not gluten-free, you could do a nice, like a pasta, like some kind of a pasta. And you have this beautiful dish to eat. So let me check the comments, see if there's, I don't know if anybody has any questions. And Jennifer, I will give you the recipe in a minute. And really good. I might add a little bit more lemon juice to mine to brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, and yeah, you could use like a lentil pasta, a chickpea pasta, whatever kind of pasta works for you. On at least for this, I promote gluten-free, but not everybody. If you don't have a gluten sensitivity that you're aware of, you could use gluten pasta. So let me get the recipe. Rice noodles is also one that we use quite a bit in our house over the wheat pastas. All right, there we go. Popping the recipe in the chat. So I made this with, you could use whatever vegetables you have. Like you just pull out whatever vegetables are in your pantry. This is one of those dishes. There was a chef, I don't know if it's just a Canadian show or if it was in the US as well. There was a chef who his whole thing on his show was just to go into his pantry and pull out stuff he had and make a meal in 30 minutes. This is exactly that kind of meal. If you've got, even if you don't have fresh veggies, if you have a little bit of frozen stuff, like even frozen peas would be great. I used all my peas earlier this week, so I don't have any. And just use up some of that stuff. And I've got, like I put red pepper. You can use any kind of potatoes. And cheers, you've got this very filling comfort meal. I hope you enjoy. I know I will. All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Looks good, Debbie.
Thank you. I hope you get a chance to try it. It's very easy. And as Jennifer said, versatile as well. You could really have it with whatever you want. I had some last night, and let me tell you, I overestimated how much I could eat because it actually is very filling for you. A great fall meal. All right. I just wanted to let you know. Oh, Helene, you got a question? Yes, Helene.
Do you freeze it?
I don't really freeze things, but I think this is something you could freeze if you wanted to. Yeah. I'll put that into the recipe. I'll look at that. But most of these things you can freeze for sure. And I wanted to let you know that I am working on an event that will be coming in less than 2 weeks. I've been busy working on the Nervous System Nutrition Revolution. It's going to be on the 24th and 25th of September, live starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to have experts talking about nutrition and nervous system regulation and all about the nervous system, and as well talking about women's hormones as well. We have a panel for that. So watch your email to sign up for that. It's coming this weekend. We should have everything ready to go so we can send out the registration page. So Helene, do you have another question, or your hand's just still raised?
How long do you keep it in the fridge?
Me, I would probably be able to keep it about a week in the fridge. Okay.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. Sending lots of love to everyone.